Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here again from Scratch, and yeah, sorry about the multi-video day. It's just kind of been one of those days. Just as I was publishing up my Unreal Engine giveaway post, way too late, sorry about that as well, I noticed a tweet from Juan Linietsky, the lead developer on the Godot project, that I thought I should kind of amplify the voice here. Basically, he is looking for feedback on a very potentially polarizing subject, and that is Godot and third parties. So he's got a poll out that he wants people to participate. I will link that. I'm going to link it, linked article once again. I definitely don't want to link directly to a Google Doc. Something could go wrong with it. My channel gets taken down, blah, 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 blame YouTube. But anyways, this is an important poll. It is completely safe, by the way. And what it is all about is Juan wants to know, to better understand your stance about third parties supplying what Godot as a nonprofit / free open source software project can't. It can give us a better idea on how important these things are to you and how we should approach third parties offering them. So basically, what relationship do you want Godot to have with commercial third parties? And then we've basically got a poll here. Again, I will link this down below. The questions will basically show what they're looking at. So basically, Godot is free, open source, very permissive license developed in the open. This is not going to change and cannot even possibly change legally due to the way the project is run. However, many other users are set to make commercial projects with Godot for which they may require more than the project can or will ever provide them due to the open nature. Having more understanding of these needs will help the project interact with third parties who may be willing to offer these services to you. There's one already that's out there. That's basically porting to consoles. And this is a thing. This is a problem that open source projects can't really deal with. You can't open source that code. There's NDAs involved. It just by nature has to be closed. And you're going to have to pay someone to do that work. And it's not something the Godot Foundation themselves offer, so they're looking at interacting or dealing with third parties, and they want your feedback on it. So we're going to run through the questionnaire they got. I'd be interested to know in the comments down below your opinion on these particular topics. I also don't know how the heck I'm going to do a title graphic for this particular video, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, I guess. All right, so we got first question. How important is it to you that Godot is free and open source with a very permissive license? Again, don't worry, this won't change and can't change. So you don't care, or it is the most important aspect. Next up, we've got, would commercial assets in the asset library be relevant to you? So things like the asset store for Unity, or the one I just did a video on Unreal. Would you like to see a commercial one for Godot? And to be honest, I think that's a good idea. I'd like the ecosystem to be able to sell something. Just because open source game engine doesn't mean that the ecosystem itself can't make some money. It'd also be nice if the Godot Foundation could be the facilitator and get a small cut off everything sold on the asset store that immediately went back to funding of Godot. So this one, personally, I am fine with, but I'd be interested to hear your opinion. Optional, in case we could support commercial assets, what would be your stance about it? I'm okay, I just don't mind no matter how it's implemented. Okay, that's some weird wording on that one. I am okay, but only if the service is run by a nonprofit and if Godot gets an optional share of the sale. And I don't think the asset library should be provided access to commercial assets. Let third parties do it. As I just said myself, I like this idea. I like the idea of a portion of the revenue going to the Godot Foundation. I also don't even really care if it's a nonprofit running it. Just as long as Godot gets a cut off any asset sold, I'm fine with that. In fact, I think in some ways it would probably make the most sense to partner with an existing e-commerce site that has this kind of solution for the asset lib, because frankly, you don't want Godot or people from Godot being bled off to run and manage a store in this particular case, but you would like to see Godot get some kind of, kickback from people using its engine. Is console support important to you? No, I don't have any plans on publishing on a console. Yes, I plan to pay an existing third party to get console support. Yes, I would like to publish there, but I cannot pay a third party. And yes, I will do the port myself. And I think reality is a lot of people have no clue how to handle another project template. So I think there's quite a few people either in this category or this category. And I think this is the example I gave at the start of this survey. And it's an issue. So this is one of those things where I definitely think something could come about. The default engine just did it basically by having a paid patron tier, gets you access to the Nintendo Switch developer resources. I don't mind that model personally. Do you think running a Godot as a headless dedicated cloud server is important to you? If you don't know what this is talking about, a headless server is basically a version of Godot minus the graphics and the rendering and all that stuff. So what you can do is do things like the physics simulation on the server side, and this is basically how client-server aspects work. There's no reason for the server and a client server to have graphics rendering, so it is used as a headless server. So what they're basically saying here is, would you like the idea of Godot hosting in the cloud? And I am not working on this type of project. I am working in network projects, but am not interested in running Godot as a dedicated server. I am very interested in using Godot as a dedicated server, so more support and options on doing this may be appreciated. All right, so those are your options there. Do you make mobile games? How important are monetization APIs to you? These are things like, ironically enough, Unity Ads, Google AdSense, or AdMob, etc. The ways of basically monetizing your projects. There's some plugins available for this already. I don't make mobile games. I make mobile games. They are not important. I make mobile games and like to have readily available APIs for monetization. How important are analytics services to you? I don't care about analytics. I would love to have solid analytic tools for my games. These are things that allow you to see conversions, how long people play your game. And of course, with analytics, essentially, you are spying on your user. Now, I'm not going to take that as really nasty way of saying things. YouTube has analytics, and I look at the results all the time. I'm almost addicted to them, to be honest. Game from Scratch and Dev Game also run analytics in the form of actually Google Analytics. This is just something, and there is a lot of value in having data on how people play your games without being creepy about it. So would you like to have third parties implementing analytics services? Would you be interested in Godot certifications? This is something Unity really pushed into. That way, if you want to go and get a job, you can say, oh, I am Unity certified. Well, maybe Godot could offer the same sort of thing. Personally, I don't give a damn. I'm not interested. I would be interested in getting certification that proves my level of skill with the Godot for employers. I am a potential employer, and certification would be useful for me in order to hire. And I'm a potential employee, but we don't need this to hire. I think I would probably be in this sort of category there. But of course, to each their own. Would your team and company to be interested in training/courses for migrating from other technologies to Godot? Not currently in a position to know or decide. Would be interested in training/courses to do migration. Not interested in this. We can do it on our own. Now, this would actually potentially be useful for the Godot ecosystem to have a third party administrating a training course or an onboarding course. Personally, I don't care. I think there's a lot of great resources out there for learning Godot, but I can understand why people would want this, especially if you were a larger kind of, say, a 50 to 100 seat house and you wanted to migrate over quickly. Bringing a trainer in on site to do that, I can see value there. Would you be interested commercial in services regarding continuous improvement and automatic deployment for multiple platforms? Okay. A little confused by that one. I don't need this. I can handle on my own. I would find this useful. We'll just move on. Would your team be interested in more advanced VCS or basically version control systems or Teams features support? No, I work alone. I work in a team, but we are just fine with Git, and I would find more advanced VCS for working with teams, like special UIs and permission for artists, animators, designers, etc. useful. Would your team be interested in commercial support? And that one is probably the single most useful thing out there in some ways. Is if you run into a wall and you don't find a solution online, would you like to be able to translate money into progress? Because that is where commercial support really shines. And if you're kind of in a bind, this can be invaluable. Do you want commercial support? Not interested, don't work in a team. Definitely interested in companies providing this, and don't really need this much, but emergency support would be useful. As I was saying earlier on, this definitely can see the appeal there. So again, you're going to see some things here, and you're going to probably be terrified. You're going to be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I don't want the Godot team doing commercial support. I don't want them doing version control software. I don't want them doing blah, blah, blah. They won't be. So this is all about doing relationships with third parties, how they should approach it, what you guys think of it in general. So this is just basically looking for feedback. They are trying to figure out what the community wants from them before they go along with this, because I got to imagine at the same time they get a lot of calls from potential partners that want to work with them in some capacity, and you don't want to tick off the community, especially when you are in the open source world where things can get a little polarizing, I guess is the politest way we'll say it. So that is the point behind this survey. There is no ulterior message or motive. It doesn't mean that something is going to happen out of this. They are just looking for your opinion, and I am as well. Let me know what you think of these things down below in the comments, and I mostly shared mine as I went through them. Again, those are from my personal perspective. I can understand why certification might be really important to an HR person that's looking to hire somebody ready to go, but personally, I don't give a damn, and I didn't give a damn about Unity certification, and they are probably much more justifiable in having it. But again, we all have our own needs, we all have our own opinions, and that is exactly what this survey is all about. So if you want to, I will link it in the linked article down below. Also link to the tweet here. So if you want to basically have a direct conversation there, you can do so, and check out the comments down below. Get a feel for what the community thinks, and that's it. So now I got to go and figure out how to do a title image for this, and I have no idea what to do. All right, that's it. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.